Hey everybody, welcome back to Lettermen Row. I am Austin Ward. This is BuckIQ. For the second time, we've got the legend, the Rimington Trophy winner, the first-round draft pick, Billy Price, somebody who knows what it takes to play on the offensive line for the Buckeyes. Billy, thanks for joining us again. When we were looking here at Luke Wypler, and I have, something in my mind like guys that play guard and then want to end up at center or having to play all over the offensive line. Luke Wypler could maybe be following that path for you. What is it? What's the biggest part of that transition for anybody that's trying to crack in there and play the interior line for Ohio State?
I think the biggest thing playing interior line for Ohio State is, again, it's a lot quicker. Guys are on you immediately. I know, especially playing center, you snap that ball and you've got one hand between your legs and the other one you've got to use as a weapon to get guys away from you, to punch, to strike, to kind of start to control that guy. And then it's a race to get your second hand on there. So the timing of everything is extremely, extremely fast. So being able to take that adjustment as, again, playing tackle to going inside, he doesn't have that distance. And I think Luke's going to have a good chance at that, to be able to go inside and to perform and to be dominant in there after seeing his highlight tape I saw earlier.
So when you've moved, and guard to center is maybe, other than the snapping part, there's probably some similarities that you can draw on there. If you're going from tackle to guard, what'll be the big transition there as Coach Stud tries to get him rolling? And obviously he only got 3 practices as an early enrollee. That was going to be big for him. But how does that move work out?
I think the kid's also, he's got to be open-minded. He's got to be a sponge to the position and understand that there are going to be different requirements that are going to be needed, and especially the offense that Ohio State is transitioning to. Because when I was there was a lot more spread offense with a lot of options. And then now seeing them come under center, things are a lot more downhill. But they still have the elements to go wide zone, to inside zone, to sweep options, to the various things that you see that Coach Dave's been doing. So just being open to it all. Again, it's going to be tighter for him. The timing of things is going to be a little bit tighter. The guys are a little bit bigger, stronger, faster. But again, I know Coach Mick, Coach Stud, Coach Day, those guys will have him ready.
All right, so we didn't wind up with any spring footage to break down for Luke Wypler. That's unfortunate, but we're going to make the best as we have throughout the lockdown here. We're going to work with what we got. Billy's going to break down some high school film of Luke Wypler right now. Let's roll the tape. All right, Billy, the usual caveats apply here. We don't know everything about the level of football that Luke Wypler's playing here in New Jersey. We don't know the play calls, but you can see this big guy, that he's got physical tools. He's moving around. He's playing some at tackle for his team there. What's the first thing that strikes you when you watch this guy on film as he gets here, 15 yards downfield?
I was to say 15 yards downfield, throws the guy out of bounds. It looks like, it looks like the scene from The Blind Side where the guy's taking the guy all the way downfield and dumps him over the fence. Daggone. Look at that. First thing, again, you talk about a finish mentality, and if you're taking your guy to your bench, I think that's probably a good sign you've got the right mentality playing offensive line.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, I don't know how much tape you break down of high school kids. You don't really care about recruits and that part of it, but like,
damn,
when guys are coming in, like, what do you look? Do you look at their highlight tapes? Do you try and project what they can be, or does that stuff matter at all to you?
No, not really, because I remember times, again, whether you're a 5-star recruit or a 3-star recruit, it depends on how you are 6 months after you show up. I think that really gives a good insight to the way development is, especially at Ohio State.
Right. And he's obviously going to be, not counted on to come in as a true freshman. There's a lot of talent now on that Ohio State offensive line. When Mickey Marotti really gets his hands on him, when Greg Studrawa gets working on the technique, what'll be the first thing that they try to impress on this kid as he makes the transition?
I just think because again, you're gonna at face adversity when you get to Ohio State, you're gonna have a guy who's gonna be bigger, stronger, faster than you. Is to continue that what you see on this highlight tape is what continues to be the product at Ohio State. So just, again, grinding and mental toughness. I think that's the same thing with Coach Mick, is something that he really takes pride on is pushing a guy to his limits and then finding a whole nother level of performance out of a guy. Again, you don't know how good that team is, that the highlight right now. But again, you see him just absolutely throwing guys. He's got good feet. He's running. He looks like he's running well at the beginning of the highlight tape where he was pulling. Again, the finish mentality, that attitude, it's going to take him a lot. He's going to take him far at Ohio State.
I think you mentioned it at some point that there's still like group chats between Ohio State offensive linemen, even if you're in the NFL, guys that are still there. Like, how much communication is there? Maybe not with Luke Wypler specifically, but between you and the current, slobs, current guys working with Coach Stud.
I hear some of the good, some of the bad, typical stuff, just what you would expect from your brothers. But again, we still talk. Again, I've talked to Jamarco Jones. Isaiah Prince is on my team right now. I've talked to Josh a couple times this year. I talk with Thayer Mumford quite often. So again, that communication, again, once you've gone through the things that we have at Ohio State, the brotherhood is really what continues that relationship, over time, no matter what team you're on.
This is kind of before I let you get back there and get to your own preparations here, Billy. Like when a guy is playing at tackle, as Luke Wypler is here, does he look like someone who should be playing guard or center down the road? How would you evaluate this before, just from your perspective as somebody who's gone through all this before?
Well, I will say though, I mean, he looks like he's got great flexibility. Again, he can bend at the knees, his ankle flexibility. So I think that's obviously a good recipe for him to transition into guard into playing interior. He's got a motor. Again, it takes a motor and it takes a lot of power for guys to be able to move, 310-pound dudes against their will inside. So it looks to be like he could be a very good fit inside. And again, it's up to him. He's got to make sure he's a sponge to the position and making sure that he makes the most out of it.
It seems like I said off the top, he's a bright guy. He's got some real physicality, that motor. Smarts. He reminds me a lot of when Billy Price arrived on campus at Ohio State. And the Buckeyes can only hope that he can follow in those footsteps just like you did when you were on campus here. Billy, I'll let you go and get back to it. Appreciate you joining us for a breakdown here. Luke Wypler, Ohio State new signee, new enrollee, trying to fill in there for those big guys up front. Appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, no problem, brother.
All right, we'll see you next time on Lettermen Row, BuckIQ. I'm Austin Ward. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and we got BuckIQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.